And you can clap. Bienvenue, welcome, willkommen. Those are probably the words you probably hear from French shows. So if you go to Moulin Rouge, for example. But today, we have something completely different, and definitely not from Moulin Rouge. We have French music. And now what we're gonna play is something from Claude Debussy's Petite Suite. How was my French accent? Was that good? Good. Oh, not bad. Someone said not bad. So I'll try again. Petite Suite. And then there are two pieces that we're going to play. The first one is En Betu. It's so difficult, this En Betu. It's in English simple. It's just a boat. And the second one is called Cortège. Oh gosh. In English, it means just a procession. So, but they have these, beautiful words, and it really reflects in the music you will hear. It's very picturesque, a lot of imagination, a lot of this kind of reflection on nature, on life, on even love. And so, the first two pieces has exactly this. The first one, En Betu, we see a couple on a boat drifting out in the ocean. And the second one is a nice procession. We have a lady, we have a page boy, and we have a little monkey. And I like to imagine that the second piece has this little monkey somewhere, maybe in the winds. For you guys, I want you guys to imagine for the second piece, try to find the monkey. And you can tell me after the concert. Oh. Thank you, orchestra. Now, as the orchestra walks off the stage, comes one question. Did you guys spot the monkey in the middle? I did a bit of this in the middle. Hope you spotted it. And it was with the winds when they do pia, pia, pop, pop, pop. Very cute. And so as the stage packs down and a lot of things happen, we start with the second part of the concert. Does anyone remember what I said about the piano in the beginning? Does anyone remember? Let's see. What about you? The king of the what? The king of, can you say it again? King of the instruments. That's good. Yes. It's not really the king of the orchestra because, you see, the piano doesn't get played in the orchestra, as you have seen twice. But it shows that it can reach the top of the keyboard to the lowest note. Ooh. Do you also know that this instrument can not only imitate the orchestra, as Abdiel can play the beginning of that Debussy, I can play it for you. As you can probably see, it can even imitate what the orchestra plays, but does it sound, which one sounds better, this one or the orchestra? For ones who say piano, put your hand up. Oh, there's one person. Yay. What's your name? Melanie. Nice. Thank you for your bravery. Well, it can sound very nice. I mean, it sounds good, but what's the difference between these many people? What sounds different about it? Can someone give me one educated guess? You can say anything. Put your hand up if you want. Nobody? Anyways, so the difference is that this is more like a carbon copy. So it's like you see black and white. And this one is the multicolored version. So you have red, you have also white, you have yellow. And so it sounds richer here, but a lot of conductors, now this is an interesting thing. When they are young, they start with the black and white copy. They learn how to play the instrument piano. They learn it from the black and copy version. And then when they play very well, they become conductors. And so for those piano players out there, it's important. When you want later on, you feel like, oh, I want to direct an orchestra, it's important that you learn your piano very, very well. And that means, I said it already in the beginning, what does it mean? Practice. Correct. So, that's important. Now, if the piano can sound like these orchestra people, it can also sound like something from the villages. It can sound like the Chinese instrument erhu. It can also sound like this Indonesian instrument, the gamelan. Now, does anyone know what a gamelan is? This is a very tricky question. It's that thing over there, but can someone give me a worded answer? No? Too difficult? Oh, you. An instrument. Yes. See, he's very brave, and he said it correctly. It's an instrument, and it comes from the traditional villages of Java, and they used to have these sultanate courts, these kingdoms. I mean, they don't have money, but they have lots of servants, they have lots of animals. So very big kingdom, and then they have these nice instruments, and they have 6 people playing ding dong 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 ding dong ding 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 dong dong ding 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 ding. So a lot of people playing together, which also sounds like an orchestra. And this instrument is very important in traditional music of Indonesia, but it also sounds very different. You see, on the modern piano, we have 12 notes. That's 13, but that's the same as this one. So, 12 notes. And then we have 7 notes in the white keys. We can make nice melodies out of that. Oh, that's a black key, but that sounds very nice with the 7 notes. Now we have the 5 notes in the black keys. And for those probably who started playing piano, you probably know this music. Ooh, that's different. But still, they have these 5 notes, which sounds very nice. But on the gamelan, on this Indonesian instrument, we have a completely different sound. We have this sound. So we have these 5 notes, and then we can play it on all sorts of things. We can also play them like how the gamelan players play it. They have 2 notes at a time. So they go bling, and then blong, and then dong. So go. So. So they sound very metallic, but also sounds very nice. but it's different to what we usually hear. And so from these interesting sounds, the composer Jaya Suprana, Indonesian, wrote a nice piece called Tembang Alit, and it's based on these kind of sounds. And I would like to play this piece, and I hope that you enjoy this little souvenir from Indonesia. Interesting. Now we come back to Europe, and now we come back actually not to France. We've seen too much of France already. But next to France, there's Germany. And from Germany, there are many great composers. You see, the fourth tip I said, if you remember the tips, so you still remember the tips? The fourth tip I actually learned when I was doing my studies in Berlin. So you see, I'm studying now in Germany, and I'm actually sharing this concert while I'm visiting you guys in Sydney. And a lot of great musicians come from Germany. You have Beethoven, as we heard in the beginning. We have Bach, as we also heard in the beginning. And now we come to an interesting German couple, composer, musician couple, actually. We have Robert Schumann. We also have Clara Schumann. As you can see right now on the PowerPoint, there's Clara Schumann being highlighted. And you might wonder why? Why Clara? Well, here comes another story. You see, when Robert was young, he used to study with Clara's father, Friedrich Wieck, who was also a very renowned German professor. He taught a lot of piano and he taught music for a lot of German composers and musicians at the time. You see, when Robert visited Clara's father a lot, Clara was playing at a very young age, like all of you guys who play piano when you guys were a kid. So when she was 9, 10, she can play very difficult pieces. And Robert looked at her and started, oh, she's cute. I like her very much. And Robert grew to like her as he goes home and he thinks about her, at home. Ooh, Clara, ooh, I like you so much. And then at home, he would write many, many letters, beautiful letters for Clara, since she's actually, she is a very good pianist, but also he likes her very much. And so these beautiful letters are being, still published today, and you can still read them online if you have some time. And I can tell you, even some of the most beautiful language, for me, it's too difficult for me to read because it's all in German. But, Robert wrote these beautiful messages. Well, back then there were letters. And then Clara would reply back with also very beautiful letters. And then both of them grew older. Both of them grew with age. And then Robert wrote a very nice letter to her. And I think he wrote once something like this. Oh, it would be nice if I could ride to you on a horse. And it's very old-fashioned even back then. Now we have cars. We can go anywhere with a car. But back then, to say, oh, I would like to ride to you and to pick you up from a horse. So you ride with a horse and then pick up the girl and then put her at the back of the horse. This is even for Robert Schumann, this is very old-fashioned. So, but there's a lot of this imagery back then, and back then, a lot of this romantic imagery is used much more often in letters. And it's interesting that Clara wrote one piece of music, which is called Nocturne in F major. Now, there's an opus number here, opus 6. So, if we imagine that Clara wrote a lot of pieces, and then there are 6 books. So, opus 1, so opus 1, opus 2, opus 3, opus 4, and then we come to, book 6, opus 6. So, this is her 6th published piece. And then in this book, we open the book. What's inside it? That's the first piece, number 1. So, very nice piece. And then we open the next page. Ooh. We come to number 2. And we see that, it's a nocturne. So, it also has to be singing like the earlier nocturne we see from Chopin. So, we open the second piece, and then it's a nocturne. And it's interesting that Robert Schumann really liked this work. Do you know how I know that Robert loves this work? You see, Robert likes to quote Clara's compositions. And, after they get married later on, and then he would like to quote her pieces, and then like to quote her melodies, and then put it in his own music. So it's be like a copy-paste. And then in this piece, actually, Schumann wrote it something like this. There's the galloping. So you can imagine Robert's kind of riding a horse. And then there's Clara. So we can imagine that Robert's kind of riding towards Clara and telling that, "Ooh, I love you so much." And what we're going to hear is not what Robert wrote. What we're going to hear is what Clara wrote. And as you will see, imagine like a love letter that Clara wrote to Schumann, to Robert. And with this spirit in mind, let us enjoy this piece. Now the piece of music is Clara Schumann's Nocturne. Now, there's a second part to the story. You see, Clara wrote that and Robert likes it very much, but Clara was also a very, very good pianist, and Robert's a composer. So, what happens when Robert likes to write and his wife, Clara, likes to play? What do you get? Very good music, I suppose. And so, a lot of Robert Schumann's compositions is inspired by the fact that his wife can play these very difficult compositions and they complement each other very well. And so when us pianists, for example, when we have to play something by Robert Schumann, we go, oh, it's so difficult. I know that Clara can play it very well, but I'm not Clara, I'm not child prodigy. This is very difficult. But it's such great music that we encounter as pianists, and it's from this collaboration, as husband and wife, that we get some of the greatest music that is actually in Germany. So I always say, the concept of marriage is very important nowadays. I think it's something that a lot of people nowadays miss, maybe in the modern age. But it's something that, from this collaboration, you can see something beautiful, as you can probably see. And as you will see in Robert Schumann's work, symphonic etudes. Now, the whole piece is 30 minutes long. It's very, very long, and we'll stay until night, and you can't go home, which is sad. So I'll play a little bit of it. So I'll play a shortened version, about 15 minutes. But it's one of the most difficult pieces that Robert wrote for Clara, and Clara liked it so much, I think she played it in a lot of towns in Germany. Well, I hope you enjoyed this very last piece.